Do you ever wonder you shoot something, then edit it in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, and then when you see the video, your video looks crappy? So today we are gonna talk about the common mistakes when you are using a cheap camera and what you should avoid when using a cheap camera. So we will talk about this in detail so that from now on your footage doesn't look crappy. I used to do the same mistakes, I've learned from it, and I'm gonna share everything with you today. But before sharing that, let's go somewhere I've planned. So I hope I can go there as planned, but before going, I need to, wear something else. So what a hectic day. It's a really bad day, man. Really bad day. Frustrating day, actually. First, I went to a place, and then I came to know you can't take the camera inside. Like, what? Seriously? Okay. Then again, I changed the plan, went to another place, and I don't know for God's sake for what reason it's closed. I have traveled so long for almost like 2.5 hours, and now it's closed. Like, can you believe it? Seriously, man, very bad day, very bad day. Anyway, so we were talking about the common mistakes that we should avoid when using a cheap camera, a budget camera, I would say. So don't get me wrong, none of the cameras nowadays is really bad. Every camera you choose is good, is excellent if you know how to use it perfectly. So I use a Canon 200D Mark II, which is the like Rebel SL3, and it's a budget camera. So I have to take care some of the mistakes. I have to avoid those mistakes to make the footage look nice. So let me tell you. So the first thing you should avoid when using a cheap camera is over color grading. Now when we shoot anything and dump all of our footages into our editing application, so we often go crazy, like we want to change this, that, every colors, but we should not go over the board. We should color correct it and then grade it how we want. But if we try to go over the board in budget cameras, then what happens is we can see the artifacts and crazy stuffs going on in the footage, making it even crappy. So you can see those color artifacts and other types of thing. You may also see noise and whatever. So you should not go over the board. Suppose if you think that you will change the total color, all the greens to suppose reds or magenta, then you will see noticeable color artifacts, and that will not look good in your footages. The next thing you should avoid while using a cheap and a budget camera is using those cameras in low light. Now, no matter how much low you keep the ISO or anything you do, you will see noticeable noise in the shadows when you are shooting in low light. Even if you're shooting in daylight, sometimes you will see some noise in the very dark shadows. So it's a problem I have seen with almost all of the budget cameras. So shoot as much possible with proper lights, and don't get anything underexposed. Anyways, you have to use a denoiser in the editing program, which I always use when I am shooting kind of any type of cinematic stuff or something where I have to nail the exposure, but at the same time I should not introduce any noise to my footage. So in that case, I use the denoiser 3 from Magic Bullet from the Red Giant. So the denoiser literally saves all my footages. Otherwise, all those footages I don't think would have been usable. So you should also use denoiser if you want to, if you are specially shooting in budget cameras. And not only budget cameras, every filmmaker I guess uses denoiser in some point of time, if especially he's shooting in low light. So mind that, you should use a denoiser and try to avoid as much possible shooting in low light. The next thing that you should avoid using is in camera sharpening. Now, you know there are flat profiles, there are lock profiles in higher end cameras, but you don't get lock profiles in budget cameras. But what you can do, you can lower the contrast, the sharpening. Especially I'm talking about sharpening, because the in camera sharpening looks very fake, and it kind of looks weird to me. The human face or anything looks kind of weird with the sharpening the camera does by itself. So it's better to reduce the sharpening in the camera, reduce the contrast in the camera, and reduce the saturation in the camera to get the look of kind of like the flat profile, the lock profile. It's not the lock profile, but still you can get the, you can get a little better dynamic range if you reduce all of those. And you can then go into the editing program and then you know increase the sharpening from there, from your application, which will look a much more natural in human faces and other things as well. So another thing that you should avoid in budget cameras is the use of 4K. Now don't get me wrong, 4K is very good. If you can use it, it's very good. But most of the budget cameras give you the option of 4K, but the quality of 4K is not that great as it is in the full HD version in the camera. So unless if you're shooting for a client and the client demands it, or anyone demands it, then you can go for 4K. But I will always try to avoid 4K in my camera since it's a budget camera, because the quality you get is not up to the mark. The quality you get is not comparable enough even with the full HD version. So yeah, and the another problem with the 4K is that many of the budget cameras have 4K, but again you get an additional crop of 1.5 or 1.6 times, and that sucks. That really sucks when you are shooting wide angle shots or wide shots. Yeah, so keep all these things in mind, especially if you're shooting in budget cameras, because I keep all of those in my mind so that I can get really good footages. And if still you know I get noise and grain in my footage, then I will just use a denoiser to just correct it and make it look good. Yeah, so just those were those things, and enjoy creating. I will now grab something to eat because I'm really hungry, and then let's see, maybe I will head towards home. Very bad day. I don't want to make anything even worse. So yeah.